It is April 2024, and those of us in the Northern Hemisphere at least have one hell of a summer to look forward to. Test cricket, England finally winning the Euros, and of course loads of mountain biking. And today kicks off a bit of an experiment that we're going to be doing that is presented by RideWrap, because we want to understand how much difference in the real world does wrapping your frame actually make to the longevity or aesthetics of your bike. So what we thought we'd do is we'd build up two identical mountain bikes and then give one the luxury treatment of kitting it out in a protective film, whereas the other one will be left for nature to take its course. So we're going to flip a coin to find out which bike gets the protection. Heads, it's this one. Tails, it's this one. Heads, R.I.P. Liz. This bike will be getting the protective cover. After a whole season of them being flogged up and down the sea to sky, we're then going to peel back that protective film to really see what the real world effects are of wrapping your mountain bike frame. So we have teleported up to RideWrap Whistler at their HQ with both of these bikes, although only one is going to be getting the protective film installed. So new bike day can be very exciting and often is, but a bit of patience here is going to be your friend, because it's going to keep your brand new frame looking better for longer. To what extent? Well, that's exactly what we want to find out with this experiment. Now with RideWrap you have essential covered, or what we're going to go for, the full tailored protection. So without further ado, let's get this bike protected. So that's one of the bikes all wrapped up, but we're going to leave them both here to be ridden by the staff, their friends and family, just about anyone that can get their grubby little mitts on it over the summer. And we'll come back in a couple of months to see how the bikes are getting on at their halfway point.
Woo! Up at here.
So after a few months, we're tuning in with the bikes to see how they're faring. Now, after what was quite a damp springtime, it's really given way to the Canadian summer, and it is incredibly dry and some of the trails are running particularly rough. So let's take a look at how the bikes are faring and compare them to one another. So looking at these bikes, and even from a few feet away, you can see which one's had the protection and which one hasn't. So many marks and scratches, it looks a bit like, the constellation of the night sky, and lots of kind of pinstripe scrapes going along that top tube. The down tube also on the non-protected bike is in a bit of a sorry state. Now they both had a hard life, but the important thing is they both had the same hard life, if you see what I mean. They've been ridden together the same amount on the same trails. So even this one does have some knocks and marks that have even managed to actually, in some instances, get through that tape. However, the gloss finish of this one is giving a very different impression. Oh, there's a knock over the bike. Compared to this one, you can see, especially in the sunlight, all the hard work that frame has been put under. But let's go back and try and understand how this film offers a greater level of protection. But what exactly is this protective film? And is it that far off standard automotive tape that you can buy in bulk uncut rolls off eBay? Well, it's made up of three key layers. Firstly, you have an adhesive layer that's very, very thin that sits on the frame itself. Then you have a middle layer. This is there to add the all-important protection and resist impacts and abrasions. So whether that's dropping your bike on a rock or the gravel flying up on a fire road, that's what that is there to do. It's to dampen those impacts. Lastly, but not least, you have the top layer. Now this is hydrophobic, so it resists water and acts a lot like a ceramic coating might. Now this is really, really useful for your bike because it means we can either use less detergent or less pressure when washing it, which should be good for our bearings and things like our cable housing. Now, if you leave this in the sun, it does have something like a self-healing property. As that gentle heat goes through it, it sort of removes those scuffs and scratch marks that you might see. And then when you want to take it off, you need to pull it to shear that adhesive layer, and hey presto, underneath your bike should be pretty much as good as new. But how does this bike look after 12 months of use and abuse? Well, let's find out. Just as I creep forward, abiding Tom the Filmer's golden rule of no shoes on the seamless, I have the film that we removed from one of the bikes in my hand. Now this film is made to just be 10 mil thick. Now, important note, that's mil, not millimeters, a mil being about 1/1000th of an inch. Now, it needs to be quite thin to help with installation as well as removal and getting into some of the tricky spots of the bike. But which of these bikes, which had pretty much the same life, being ridden at the same time on the same trails and roughly covered then the same amount of ground, had the protective film? Well, I'm going to let you see if you can tell for yourselves.